T-Bird fans. We welcome you to a brand new edition of T-Bird Talk. I'm Cloud County Community College Sports Information Director, Toby Nosker. On this week's edition of T-Bird Talk, we'll have the opportunity to visit with two sophomore returners to the Cloud County Community College volleyball team. Both of them dual sport athletes at Cloud County. We'll be talking to Emery May and Bradie Medina. The Cloud County Community College volleyball team playing at home for the first time this season this week. The T-Birds opened up their home schedule on Monday night as they matched up with McPherson College JV. Cloud County dropped that match in 4 sets. The T-Birds were then at home Wednesday nights as they returned to Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference play to take on the visiting Dodge City Community College Conquistadors. Dodge City won the match in 3 sets, but the T-Birds put up a great fight. Cloud County had 36 kills on the night, led by Medina, who had a team-high 14 kills, 12 digs, and 2 block assists. May posted 7 total blocks to go along with 4 kills and 3 digs. Now, Cloud County currently sits at 3-9 overall and 0-3 in Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference play. And next up, Cloud County will be at home Saturday as they will take on Garden City Community College. That Jayhawk Conference matchup is scheduled for 5:30 p.m. in Arley Bryant Gymnasium. The Garden City Broncbusters won their first conference match of the season Wednesday, defeating the Hutchinson Blue Dragons at home in a 5-set thriller. Of course, you can stream this Saturday's match between Cloud County and Garden City on the T-Bird Sports Network at our website at cloudtbirds.com. Up next, we will talk to sophomores Emery May and Bradie Medina.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
Joining us now this week on T-Bird Talk is 2 members of the Cloud County Community College volleyball team. Both of them 2 sport athletes here at Cloud County, not only members of the T-Bird volleyball team, but also members of the Cloud County Community College women's track and field program. Joining us, we have sophomores Bradie Medina and Emery May, and I want to thank you both so much for taking time to join us. And I guess let's kind of get a sense from you guys to start with as far as how the volleyball season's going. I'm sure a little disappointed with where the record is right now at this stage. But Bradie, a lot of newcomers to start this season. Just 4 returners, you 2 of them, both of you last year, honorable mention all-conference players in the Jayhawk West. And so, Bradie, tell me a little bit about what the transition's been like now for you and the other sophomores, having to step into that leadership role and helping to guide a bunch of new players coming into the program this season.
I think that last year, since we had a lot of sophomores able to help the small group of freshmen we had, it was easier for us last year to kind of get to know how things should be. And this year, as we have 4 sophomores, I think it's important that we keep pushing the freshmen and showing them that it's okay to mess up, but we need to clean it up a little bit. And we're just trying to let them have some confidence and, start getting our feet under us and getting some wins.
Emery, has it been tough for you and the others to kind of step into leadership roles that you didn't necessarily have to take on last year, right? Because you had, other sophomores ahead of you that had that experience that could help lead the way. Now you've had to slide into that position. Has that been a tough transition for you?
Personally, for me, I don't think it's been a super tough transition. I'm in high school. I've had to step up into a leadership role for my volleyball team. And I think so far it looks like the other sophomores are taking pretty good care of the leadership roles that they want to step into. And I think each one of us sophomores, we have different types of leadership that we follow. Me, I'm more of a kind of the energy person. I like to give the energy out. Bradie, I feel like, is more of she's she kind of guides people in like the right direction on which to go and helps lead. So I think each one of us sophomores have really stepped into certain positions for the leadership roles.
We'll talk more about the season in a moment. Let's kind of get to know both of you, though. And Emery, you mentioned high school. You went to Andale High School. For those in the state of Kansas know, usually a powerhouse school in almost every sport imaginable. And you make the move from Andale to Concordia and to attend Cloud County. How did that come to be?
So I was really like on the fence on which sport I wanted to pursue in college. And my high school coach, she also was a dual sport athlete at the college that she went to. And I was just like really on my fence. I was like, should I do volleyball? Should I do track? Like I wasn't really sure and which one I wanted to keep pursuing for a 4-year. And I felt like a 2-year was just like the perfect thing for me. And she was like, you need to probably go to a 2-year in dual sport so you can like keep figuring it out and stuff. And then I was on a recruiting profile and stuff. Cloud reached out to me for volleyball first, and then started talking to them. And then the track coaches reached out like a week later, and they're like, yes, like we would love for you to be on the track team. And it was kind of perfect for me because it's a good volleyball program and it's a good track program. And so it's a perfect match for me. So
was that a lot to balance, though, coming into your freshman year of college? I know you were a multi-sport athlete in high school, but in a lot of ways those seasons are pretty segregated, right? Where you come here and as soon as you're done with volleyball, I know you immediately jump right into track and field workouts and practices and then meets. So the season really for you, there's no dead period, there's no quiet time. Was that tough?
It was a little tough, personally, I can say, because, I always want to get that break to go maybe spend time with my friends, like up at different schools and stuff. But it's fine for me. I feel like I don't really need that break, other than it is kind of a rough transition from going to a different type of lifting and stuff, getting back into like the traditional lifts for throwing.
What was it about Cloud, though, during that recruiting process that really stood out to you?
I really, really liked the fact that it was very like community based, and I liked that it was small. I think that was a great transition for me, going from an ultra, very, very small town to a little bit bigger town. And then when I go into my 4-year, like it's just kind of like a smooth transition for me, especially being a small town kid.
Bradie, you too, a dual sport athlete like Emery. Were you trying to decide as well, like what is it that I'm going to pursue? What do I want to do at the next level?
No, honestly, coming into my senior year, I was for sure leaning towards track just because I had been more successful in track and I really enjoyed it. And then I wasn't really going to do any sports after that. I was just going to go to a normal university with the rest of my friends. And then my head track coach at the time is really good friends with the pole vault coach down here, and he was like, you really need to give it a try. So he reached out to me, then Coach Drew, he reached out to me, and we had a few conversations. Super nice guy, really knows how to like influence people to come to the school. And then he asked me if I would be interested in doing volleyball because we had another girl who I just committed, Emery, obviously, to do volleyball and track. And I was like, oh, like maybe I'll think about it. Then Deb and Hilta came down to one of my track meets. They talked to me, and I really liked both of them. And they just convinced me to end up doing both. So,
do you feel like you made the best decision for yourself?
I think so. I was going to go to a JUCO anyway if I was going to do a sport, just to get a few experiences under my feet before I went somewhere else. And I enjoy all the friends that I've made and all the experiences I've gotten to make. And then travel. I don't really travel much in high school or anything before that, but track and volleyball has given me the opportunity to travel a lot more, and I think it's a great opportunity.
I want to talk about travel because the volleyball team this year opening up with 10 matches on the road, including 2 trips to Texas before finally getting some home matches this week. But as far as coming in, making that transition from high school to college, it's a huge adjustment for everybody, even those that aren't student athletes, because you're leaving home for the first time. You're on your own. You're adjusting to the responsibilities that come with that, trying to make your way through college coursework. And now, as I was talking with Emery, you've got 2 sports that you're competing with that also take up a lot of your time. Was that difficult for you to balance as a freshman last year?
It wasn't that difficult. I was a bit jealous of my teammates that they got to come home after school, take a few naps, and then they would have practice at night, but me and Emery would have to get back from school, go to lunch, and then go straight to practice. But I enjoy track and field so much that I wouldn't mind overlapping even in the fall, and vice versa. I did a little bit of volleyball in the spring when I was training for pole vault, and I honestly really enjoy my teammates, and so it makes it a lot easier for me to want to go to practice even if it's difficult.
You mentioned the coaches and how influential they were, the conversations that you had with whether it was Coach Mahan, Coach Ramos and Monzon with the volleyball program. It sounds like they kind of sold you on coming to Cloud.
Yeah, I didn't really meet anybody when I came on my visit because I came so late. I didn't really commit till end of May, really. But I met a few of the volleyball girls, and they just talked really nice about the coaches. And Coach Drew and Hilton and Deb, they're really good with like putting a good image in your head, and they really talk up our conference, which our conference is really difficult in both volleyball and in track, and it's super competitive. And we compete with a lot of the D1 schools that we go to in track, and we compete with a lot of the bigger schools that we compete with in volleyball as well. So I think it's a good experience.
Emery, what was those conversations with coaches like for you coming in? And have you found that you have a support system of folks here that, again, being away from home, going through the rigors of college life, but also having to be an athlete and the travel and everything that comes along with that, have you found that you've got a pretty good support system here?
Yes, I really feel like I have a great support system here, both for track and volleyball. When they were talking to me, convincing me to come here and everything, they were really like focused on the community part and making sure that like I understood, because I came from a pretty like tight-knit community, and they were showing me that like everybody here they have your back, no matter like if you are an athlete, a non-athlete. Baseball has our back. We have baseball's back. Like everybody just has each other's back here, and I think that's just super important. And they made sure that was very clear with me.
Reflect for me a little bit. Last year, first time in college, first time competing in college athletics, the volleyball season. A pretty strong campaign overall for the team. As I said, both of you recognized as honorable mention all-conference players. Emery, how did you feel like your first year went?
I feel like my first year went really great. My teammates really helped with a lot of it. We went through a little rough patch, and then we came all together and like kind of figured stuff out, and I think that was really great. Overall, I loved my first year with all those girls and with my teammates and coaches.
Bradie, what about you?
I definitely struggled my first year a lot. I really missed my family. I wanted to go home more often than I should have wanted to go home, but my teammates were super supportive, and anytime I needed someone to talk to, they helped me out. And I did lose a bit of confidence in the first year just because you're not used to playing with a bunch of people who are just as talented or even more talented than you on the court. And so it was just a big eye-opener being a pin hitter last year, getting a lot of the balls and going up against people who are 6 foot and higher. And it was just a crazy experience for me because my town we're not terrible at volleyball by any means, but our area is a lot less competitive than the other areas in Nebraska. So I think that it was a struggle for me at the beginning, but all my teammates helped pull me out of it, and I think I'm starting to figure it out.
What would you say was the toughest, part of the transition or the biggest challenge you faced, whether it was personally just being homesick or, on the court? I know I interviewed, 4 members of the volleyball team a couple of weeks ago, all of them freshmen from Texas. And we talked about that homesickness, but then they also talked about that just how much faster the game is at the college level and how that's been difficult to adjust to. What was the biggest challenge for you?
Honestly, in high school, the serve-receive and serving part of the game is not as needed as it is in college, and that is definitely the hardest part. It's a hard thing to get back there and get served at constantly and have to have a good, consistent, tough serve at the other team. In high school, I feel like it's all about the hitting and hitters, and they get recognized a lot more. But now in college, I think it's the serve-receive part, and we're starting to realize that. So, yeah.
Emery, for you, what was the most difficult aspect or the biggest hurdle for you to overcome?
Really probably figuring out how to cut around the block. See, I always was kind of like one of the stronger kids on the court in high school. So like most of the time I could just kind of swing through kids' arms and stuff. And then when I got to college, I was like, oh, there's a 6-footer across the net, and she just stuffed me. So I got to learn how to cut around them. And I think I've gotten a lot better with that, especially this year, coming into this year. That probably was the hardest part for me.
Coming into this year, what did the coaches talk to you and the other sophomore returners about? What kind of leadership did they want to see from you? And how did they want to see you assist now the new faces that have come into the program?
I think they really wanted us to be straightforward leaders for everybody. I think they wanted each one of us kind of like, we all have our, like I said earlier, all have our own different traits and stuff, and they wanted us to like use that trait because each one of our uniqueness things kind of like fit into a puzzle. And they really wanted us to take what we are best at and put it into the team. So like for me, it was like an energy-based thing. I'm pretty good with like talking to the girls and everything and like getting close with them. So that was kind of like my leadership role, kind of like calming people down or getting their energy up, like keeping them in a straight mindset.
And Bradie, volleyball's unique compared to a lot of the sports here in which you're the first really to arrive on campus. You moved in late July, started practices officially on August 1st. Most of the student body doesn't come at least for another couple weeks. And so I know there's a lot of team bonding sessions, a lot of practices, a lot of time spent in the gym. I know we were talking with the coaches, almost 3-a-days there early on. And so I know you guys are putting in a lot of work, whether in the fitness center or on the court, but you get that downtime to really get to know each other. Does that help and ease the transition a little bit where you really get to know each other as teammates and friends?
Yeah, honestly, our team is so close, and I feel like I've known a lot of these girls for so many years, but I just met them a few months ago, and I feel like it really helps us on the court because we know each other, what each other needs, and help each other pick each other up when we're down, and I think that's one of the positives about coming early is that we get to know each other a little bit better and on a deeper level because you come into college as a freshman, you're meeting a bunch of strangers. Like, it's scary, you're away from home, and a lot of those Texas girls can't even go home. Same with, like, some of our people that are out of state, out of country, you know, they don't get to go home and leave if they're scared or alone. So I think it's important that we get to know each other on a deeper level when we are here early.
How do you feel like they've done in their transition? How do you feel like the freshmen are coming along?
I think they're doing amazing. Like, one of my roommates, Berkeley, you had a conversation with her a couple weeks ago. She is like my mother. She is so put together. She has literally anything you need. She can cook. She can clean. Like, she is so put together. And honestly, she's more put together than me, and I'm only 2 hours away from home, and she's 12. So I think, yeah, she's doing a great job.
Emery, I know you get an opportunity to actually room with former high school classmates that you went to high school with, Grace Rowland, that's here from Andale, a freshman outside hitter now. What's that been like to be able to reconnect with her in college?
That was really awesome. I was the one that kind of forced her to come here, but I was really excited for her to come here. Having her as a roommate is special, really, to me. We were close in high school and stuff, and then having that year away from her, and then she gets to come here now. It's really great. She's a real homebody, not a homebody, but she has a really big family, so she's like very family oriented and stuff. So I think having me with her, somebody that she knew, really helped transition her into getting to know a bunch of people and being away from home. And she loves it up here. Sometimes she says when I go home, I kind of miss Cloud, and I was like, yeah, it happens to you. You get to know all these girls, and you get really close with them.
Let's talk about the season to this point. And I know you guys, as I said, probably disappointed with the results, at least at this stage. But I feel like when I watch you, I feel like the talent's there. It's just being able to put the pieces together, find some consistency. One of the things I've heard from coaches and other players is some mental toughness at times because you've been in some tight matches that unfortunately you've come out on the wrong side of. So, Bradie, let me start with you. How do you kind of assess where you guys are as a team at the moment right now?
I think we're still trying to figure stuff out. We keep trying new rotations. We're trying new people. We have so much talent on the team, so nobody's counted out. And so we just want to find what works for us. And just because we fall on the wrong side of the outcome doesn't mean that we're going to stay that way the rest of the season. We're trying to find stuff that works for us, and hopefully that'll fall into place sooner than later. I think it's tough because last year we were successful, very successful, but again, we had a lot of upperclassmen who knew how to
navigate.
Yeah, how to navigate the situation when we were in a tough situation, and now we have a ton of freshmen on the court, and they're still trying to figure out their groove. Like you said, freshman year is always the toughest, and I think they're doing a great job. We just need to start putting the pieces together, and I would say we are an energy-based team, and so we're still trying to figure out how each of us want to celebrate each other, and we have a great bench. We have a big number on the sideline. It's just about our new thing is trying to keep all the lights on. When one light comes off, we need to try and figure out how to turn that light back on, because we want to have a solid team and be able to sub people in and out and not see a change of the
environment.
Yeah, environment and skill level on the court. So we're still trying to figure things out, but I think we're starting to figure it out slowly but surely, but doesn't mean that we're counted out. So,
and it's a long season, and you guys realize that you're just starting conference play. There's a whole second half to come where you'll run into every team again. And navigate's probably an interesting word, Emery, that you used, because I think about, and you talked about one of the biggest obstacles is, last year all of a sudden, there's another 6-footer that's across, from me. And, you think everybody that's coming in was probably one or two of the best players on their high school team, right? They were so used to being the focal point or in being the top player. Now, not only is everybody on your own team that you're competing for spots with one of the best players from their high school team, but everybody that you're playing against was one of their best players. And so the competition obviously is really, really tough and challenging. And you've played some really good teams to start with. A lot of ranked teams, from a team down in Dallas to Central Community College and Colby to start out on the road in your first conference match. Do you feel like you've been really tested to start this season?
I do feel like we've been tested, especially just being kind of like a young group and like having like these kind of pressured situations on us like early. But I think it's kind of good to get like the tests going now. It kind of like pushes us, and it's going to help us like build ourselves up for when it comes towards the end of the season, when that we have that pressure coming back again. And I think we're going to be ready for it when it comes. So I'm excited to see it.
How challenging was the 10 matches on the road to start? Because again, it's a new team. You guys are still trying to get to know each other. You're really just kicking off the school year, so you're trying to figure out your classes. Now you're spending many hours on a bus and in a van. You're arriving at hotels at midnight. You're turning around and getting up early and having to go play a couple of matches per day. Was that a tough challenge to start the season out with?
I do think it was a little bit of a tough challenge for us to start the season out with. I mean, we're going in from that bus ride to the next day. We're going to go have to play a game and everything. But I think the girls, it was kind of like a really big time for us to try to figure some things out, and I think we're still doing that. But it was a little rough having the first kind of like big amount of games we're playing all the way down in Texas and everything. But
Bradie, was it nice to finally be at home for the first time? I know you would have liked a different result, but to actually not have to go through all the rigors of the travel, the packing, all the hours spent on the bus, that kind of stuff, to be in an environment that you're so used to, and again, having family and friends that couldn't make the trip to Texas but now can come to the home matches. Was that a welcome change?
Yeah, honestly, I'm jealous how many people we have from Texas mainly. That's why we went down to Texas so many times. But I love when my family gets to come, my grandparents, my cousins. I really enjoy having them here. And it's hard for my parents to come during weekdays, so they try to make it as much as possible. But the 10 away games in a row, they hadn't been able to see us compete all season up until that Nebraska game. And they watch it on live, but they don't really get the full experience. And my parents also give some really good advice to me and help me clear my head, because sometimes when we are in those tough, challenging games, it's hard, and you want to take the blame all for yourself, or you want to be like, why isn't this working, and get discouraged. But that's the best thing about having a support system, is that they see things that you don't see. And yeah, I wish we could go to Nebraska more.
What's the goals for you personally or for the team this season?
For the team, I think our biggest challenge is we are having a little bit of issues of making a couple errors in a row, and we're trying to side out quickly, because the toughest thing, like I said, in college is definitely the serve receive part of it. If you can get a good ball, we can place the ball as well as any team, but it's about the passing game at this point. So siding out quickly is what we're trying to fix, because we have the hitters, we have the blocking, we have the setting, we have the passing, but when the serve receive, that's just all mental there. And so we're still working on that, but I think that's the biggest thing right now.
And it's so interesting to me, and I tell people this a lot, that I feel like volleyball is a game of momentum, maybe more than any other sport I've seen. And one or two errors or mistakes can all of a sudden snowball, and it really becomes tough to be able to, come back from that. And so, Emery, for you, what do you feel like are the goals, whether personally or for the team this season?
I think for the team is right now I think the short end goal is to get a win under our belt, get some wins, and really try to figure out who we are personally as a team. Because but Deb and Hilta had a talk with us. They're like, you guys need to figure out what makes you a good volleyball player. Figure your thing out. And I think each one of us, we need to try to figure that out. What are we going to really contribute to the team, and what we're going to be known as, as a team and everything. So I think that's one big goal for us. And I just to get a win.
Obviously, you both still have a long year ahead of you, not only with the volleyball season, but then you'll make that transition into the track and field year, and maybe we'll catch up again and do another interview coming up track season. But post Cloud County, have you given much thought to what may lie ahead for you? I guess, Bradie, let me start with you. What is it that you're majoring in, and then what are you thinking about come graduation time next May?
I'm currently majoring in business. I do not know for sure if I will go on to a 4-year or not. I would like to play a sport, and I really like to compete. So I think that's what keeps me motivated to stay in school and keep getting a higher education, which I shouldn't say that, but it's true. I wouldn't mind going to a 4-year, but I don't know if I would pick volleyball or track, and it just honestly depends how track season goes for me. So,
Emery, what about you?
I'm really looking at going to a 4-year out of Kansas. I want to kind of experience some different things. And
you're majoring in?
Oh, I'm majoring in ag business. So, but I'm not really sure what I want to. Probably it's going to be track. That's what I want to go to for my 4-year and stuff. But I'm really looking at schools maybe along the coast. I want to go to a school maybe down in Georgia. That's one of my dreams. But I'm not really sure fully yet on which sport, but I'm leaning more towards track.
Well, let's close things out with our final 4 questions, which I do each show. So I have 4 questions for you. We'll bounce these back and forth. But we've talked a lot about travel so far. And again, spending 10 matches on the road to open up this season. Bradie, you mentioned earlier that, because of competing in 2 sports at Cloud, you've been able to travel quite a bit. All right, so question number 1 for each of you. What is it you're listening to? What music are you jamming out to on the road? So, Bradie, what's your go-to travel song, or what are you listening to?
I'm a big Nicki Minaj fan, so anything Nicki Minaj, honestly, she gets me fired up.
Emery, what about you?
Okay, it depends what kind of vibe I'm going for. See, it's going to be either a Zach Bryan, Chris Stapleton if I'm trying to get in the mindset. But then after that, it's probably some old 2010s rap, or I like to do 21 Savage. 21 Savage is my homie, my forever man.
Now, what about going on these trips with you that I've gone on so far? I've told your coaches that I'm going to end up gaining 50 pounds by the end of the season because you guys can eat and you can eat well. Now, the thing is, you guys are out on the court actually working this off, and I'm just sitting on my backside the whole time in a van or bus or in the bleachers and all of that. So I got to spend some more time in the gym myself. What's your favorite road trip snack? What is it that you like to consume if you're going to be out on the road? We've made a lot of stops at different truck stops, convenience stores, restaurants. Emery, what's your favorite road trip snack?
I think it's going to have to be applesauce. I love applesauce. The Go-Go Squeezes in specific. Those are my favorite. I love them. That's probably my favorite.
Bradie?
Well, I always have to have a Celsius with me, so Celsius for sure. And honestly, any type of candy. I really like gummies, like gummy bears, fruit snacks, anything like that.
You're talking my language.
Yeah.
All right, so this doesn't have to be sports related, but it can be. What's been your favorite place you've ever traveled to at any point in your life? Bradie?
Well, like I said, I don't travel much, so the only traveling I've done is here at Cloud. So I would definitely say indoor nationals for track. We went all the way to Florida, and I was on a plane for the first time. It was awesome, and I love it down there. It was so warm, beautiful. The sky was beautiful. Florida for sure.
Emery?
I'm gonna probably say Gulf Shores, Alabama was probably my favorite for me. I went there for my senior trip, and I had a really great time. Not too crowded, just enough amount of people.
What'd you like about it?
Not too many people. That was probably my favorite thing. There was like a good amount of random strangers, and then not too much, because I've been down to Florida. Those beaches are crowded.
All right, then the last question. Bucket list. Where do you want to travel to in your life? Where's the one place that you want to visit at some point in your life? Emery?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm probably gonna say Greece. I want to go to Greece. I feel like that'd be a fun place to go.
What about you, Bradie?
Probably France. Every time I talk to Chloe, she seems so interesting to me, and I want to come and visit her in France. I would say France.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I'm going to change it to France. I'm changing it to France.
We're going to take a girls' trip to France to see our friend Chloe.
Yeah, whenever I get money.
Well, if you need me to carry your bags, just let me know.
Okay.
Best of luck throughout the rest of the season. I appreciate you both making the time to talk to us. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Bradie, Medina, Emery May, sophomore members of the Cloud County Community College volleyball team joining us on T-Bird Talk.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 early bird scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
My thanks to Cloud County Community College sophomore volleyball players Emery May and Bradie Medina for being our guests this week on T-Bird Talk. The Cloud County Community College volleyball team will be in action at home this Saturday when they play host to Garden City Community College. 5:30 first serve in our Lee Bryant Gymnasium, and we will stream the match live on the T-Bird Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. Last weekend, the Cloud County Community College women's cross-country team posted a top 10 finish at its opening meet of the year at the 76th Annual JK Gold Classic at Clapp Cross Country Course in Wichita. The T-Birds ended the 5K race with the best finish among two-year schools with 219 points. Sophomore Inveni and Chike led the way for Cloud County, crossing the finish line with a time of 18:28.61 to finish in 19th place. Inveni was the top junior college runner in the race that featured 3 NCAA Division I teams and 5 NCAA Division II teams. For her efforts, Inveni was named Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference Cross Country Runner of the Week, and then was also honored as the NJCAA Division I Cross Country Runner of the Week. Now, the Cloud County Community College men's cross country team also opened its season last weekend at the JK Gold Classic in Wichita. The T-Birds claimed 11th place with 266 points, and they finished third among two-year schools behind Colby Community College and Cowley College. Now, the Cloud County runners will race next in the Woody Greeno J. Dirksen Invitational on Saturday, September 21st in Lincoln, Nebraska at Mahoney Park Golf Course, co-hosted by Nebraska Wesleyan University and the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. We'll be talking more cross-country next week on a brand new edition of T-Bird Talk. New episodes drop every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. T-Bird Talk is a production of the Cloud County Community College Athletic Department.